Have you ever felt as if you are putting so much thought and work towards achieving financial freedom, but every time you have this great feeling, you're still not where you would want with your money? Have you ever felt as if you're giving in too much work in achieving this financial freedom, but it feels as if it's still a far long dream? In today's video, I'm going to plug you into a framework that I'm currently testing and I'm currently using, and I'm seeing as if this is one of those things that can really set one financially free. When you start a journey, you always have to have an end in mind, to have how to get there, and to have systems to guide you as you're getting there. Any journey, you'll need a GPS. And a GPS, we start with a goal. The goal has to be very clear. And let me tell you, sometimes it might not mean that you have a 10, 5 or 20, 30 years goal. Sometimes it might mean the 3 months or 2 months or even a month goal. As long as you have a clear goal, first of all, you can have the 10-year, 5-year, 1 year, and then now you can have each month, what do I set aside to achieve? A goal is the destination. A goal is where you will want to be. The underlying factor, I'll want to be financially free. However, that is just a blurred statement. By this, I mean, other than saying I'll want to be financially free, you'll need to set aside and say, I'll need to be financially free, and this is what it means for me being financially free. As you've probably heard in my previous video, me saying that financial freedom has to reflect a lot on your character, on your personality, on who you actually are. Because any other thing outside of that, it will just be someone else's dream that you're trying to live. So set your clear, set out goal. This is the destination that I will want to be. This is where I will want to be in the next 1 month. In the next 1 month, I will want to have 1 million Kenyan shillings as my security fund or my emergency fund. And after you have set out your goal, see, this is what I will want to achieve. This is what I want to be. This is where I will want to be. After you answer that question, now you ask yourself the next question. How am I going to get to that destination? You see, having a goal is one thing, but actually having a plan towards that, it's something totally different. Having a goal without a plan is purely a wish. So the second part, we look at the plan. This is how I'm going to achieve the set out goal. This framework, all the parts of the framework are intertwined. So when you're talking about the plan, I will want to have 50,000 Kenyan shillings in my bank account as a security in the next 3 months. What does that mean? It means I'll need to set aside at least not less than 15,000. Okay, 15,000 is around 45,000 at the end of the 3 months. So I'll need to get at least, if it's 16,000, at least we're going to get to 50K, right? So if we're going to get 20,000 every month in the next 3 months, it means we'll be at 60,000. How am I going to get this 20,000 every month? Does it mean I'll have to budget differently? Does it mean I'll have to track my expenditure so that I can know where am I losing my money? Tracking your expenditures is one of the greatest habits that one needs to have, because we tend to lose a lot of money while we are not knowing. You just passed by that duka and then you're like, let me get a smocha, let me get some samosa, let me get some smoky. See, some of this money, you might not see it at the beginning, but cumulatively, you might be spending your travel budget on smochas. That's a fact. Imagine if you were to set aside just 100 shillings, 100 Kenyan shillings, every single day for the next 365 days. That is 36,500 shillings. Let me tell you, that can be your travel budget. And some of us, we lose 100 shillings comfortably in a day without us blinking. And then you'll see someone telling you, I'll need 2K urgently. And this person has spent 36,500 or even more on a single year without them blinking. Now, this is where you ascertain your plan, your how to get to that goal. I will want to have an education plan for my children. How old are they? They are probably 1 year. So I'll have X number of years for them to get to school. So between year 1 and let's say year 5, I'll be putting aside, let's say 100,000 every year, so that this, wherever I'm going to invest this amount of money, is going to be bringing enough return that where I'm going to earn in terms of interest, that's what I'm going to use to pay for my children's education plan. This you should be very clear. I'm not saying that you put aside 100,000 every year, so that the amount that you're going to have at the end of the 5 years, that's that fixed amount, that's the one that you're going to use. In my mind, I'm thinking the best way to think about it is, yes, I'll have, let's say, 500,000 at the end of the 5 years. The interest that I'm going to earn from that amount is the one that I'm going to take my children to school with. So you need to have an open idea of how much am I going to put aside so that it can afford the school that I would want to take my children to. Because let's face it, we might not be having as much time or as much money to take them to the best school if we don't plan ahead. That's when you'll get someone probably having a little bit of crisis in raising the school fees. They will want to take their children to a better school, but they're having some little bit of crisis. If you can be able to plan ahead, that is the best way for you. The third thing, after having a plan, beautiful. Setting all these SMART goals, beautiful. But now you need to set systems. We say, and I really believe in this statement, that you will not achieve your goals if you don't set systems to achieve your goals. We fall to the level of our systems, not to the level of our goals. Now you have already said, I want to be financially free by the time I'm getting 40 years or even 35 or your beautiful number, right? How am I going to get there? I'm going to get there by setting aside 500,000 every year, 2 million shillings every year, X number of amount. Fill in your answer, right? Now, how am I going to ensure that I am achieving this? Now, that is the system. Does it mean I need to have a standing order on my M-Pesa or at my bank, whereby in case any money hits the account, there's an amount that is cut and it's sent to a certain account? There you'll have talked to your broker. They buy X number of shares and you're building your portfolio each and every month, each and every day, each and every week, depending on how you have set your systems. Immediately you get your money. You might be using the 50-30-20% rule, whereby you put aside 50 for expenditure, 30 for your wants, 20 for saving and investment, or whichever way that you will prefer, right? And don't forget 10% for tithe, right? All this, you are setting systems that are going to guide you, achieve the plan that you have and achieve the goal that you have. The GPS framework cannot be achieved if you don't have clear cut out systems. Because imagine you've received 100,000 shillings as a windfall amount. This is a friend of yours who's balling and then is like, yo, Dan, thank you for being an amazing friend. I'm sending you 100 guaps for you, just do whatever you'll want with it, right? Now, having received 100,000 shillings, if I don't have clear cut out systems, what will be my first thought? I'll be like, yo, I've not been to Diani for a minute. I start cutting out the money. I've not bought a shoe in a minute. I start chucking out that money. I've not upgraded my phone for like 2 months or something. I add, by the end of the day, that 100,000 might end up even meaning that I'm less like 10 or 20,000, because I'll end up spending with the thought in mind that I have so much money. Having a system that is going to enable you to achieve your plan, to achieve your desired goal is really important. And here is when I need to plug you into one great event that is happening. It's actually not an event, it's a class. It's a 5-week course whereby you're going to gather around amazing human souls to just discuss matters about money, financial wellness, financial health, financial freedom, how to define and clearly define your financial freedom. It's making sense. It's happening from the 16th of June for the next 5 weeks. I'll plug you into the details on the description, and there's a poster that is going to appear here, or here, one of those places. So I'll really wish for you to check them out. You can reach them out and just understand how this thing works, this thing called money. No one has figured it out, but at least you can have a community whereby you're going to challenge yourself for you to come up with your desired goal, for you to arrive and say, this is where I'd want to be financially. Making sense, make your money make sense for you, right? So even as we go along with this journey of life, clearly have your GPS attached next to you. Like, you know where you want to go, you know how you're going to get there, and you have built systems around. Does it mean accountability? You can join courses. Does it mean you'll need apps so that they can enable you manage your finances? There are so many apps on the Play Store. Does it mean you need a system to enable you save? There's a beautiful app that I've been using called Chums. I'll talk about it later on. Does it mean I'll need some certain amount to be deducted? There's so many platforms. You can have standing orders and all these things. Does it mean you will need to set aside X amount of money? You can have your Excel sheet, figure out how you're going to achieve your goals, have different sheets opened up. And maybe later on, I'll share with you some of the tools that I've been using to achieve financial freedom. But let me tell you guys, you really need to have your GPS really on as you're going through your financial journey. There's no need for you to wait for the government or someone else, or just windfall, or one day I'll just make $1 million. When will that day be? Are you going to wait, or are you going to work out something so that you can achieve your financial goal? No one is coming to save you. Not your employer, not your boyfriend or girlfriend, not your sponsor. No one is coming to save you. Your financial responsibility, it is yours to take up. Financial freedom can only be defined by you, and you can be the only person who will want to get where you will want to go. This is just a wake-up call. This is just a challenge. I'm continuously improving myself by learning on tools and how to get there where I'll want to be financially free. Freeing your time, freeing your peace of mind, freeing even freedom of choices, because financial freedom is really, really important. Get your GPS on, get into this journey, let's get interactive. And if you have any challenge in getting where you will want to go, feel free, comment down there on this comment section, and let's interact. Let's see how we're doing in our financial journey. That is, if you're free. And all this is proudly brought to you by yours truly. Thank you so much for catching up with me. Until next time, kindly check out that course that I've plugged into the comment section or the poster right here, and we are going to grow together. Till next time, Biz.